Hi, in this video I'm going to be covering the Bishop B4 check Catalan. This is Black's most popular option at the top level right now, because it's Black's most solid option and probably the best way to equalize. But if White knows what he's doing, he can get positions where, like, if Black plays all the right theory, yeah, Black can get objectively equal position, but White still is slightly better, like practically, and he's the only one who can play for uh, any advantage. So here, the point of Bishop B4 check is to uh, discoordinate the white pieces. Um, in knight d2, then Black has the option to take, and it's not so easy for White to defend the pawn, and um, knight c3 is also just not a move you want to be playing generally, although it is an option because c4 pawn's always going to be hard to take back now, so that's why White's main option is bishop d2, and here the whole point of Black's check is to go back with e7. So compared to starting with e7, it may look like Black just loses a tempo because we get to develop the bishop for free, but the bishop is actually worse placed here than on c1 because it blocks, like, it's just, it blocks, first of all, the queen's move to d4, which sometimes is important, and then most importantly, it takes up the d2 square for our knight. So, um, that's why Black plays this check in the first place, but instead of, for trading to e7, he can also go to e6, or d6, and here, White can get a slightly better position just by playing normal moves, and after bishop g5 here, White's gonna get rid of, like, the bishop that was otherwise useless on d2, and then here after c6, playing, like, in this spirit of the closed Catalan, uh, White trades the bishop, and then after castling, if Black takes, we can regain the pawn like this with knight d2 and get a comfortable position, probably a little better. And after, like, if the queen moves back because it's not doing much on f6, we can play c5 and then e4 and get a nice position. So after bishop g5, Black can also take on c4, but after e4, Black has to waste a tempo moving back because e5 was threatened. And after he tries to break with c5 and after our recapture, here White has a slightly better position where he can choose which way to castle. And I think castling long looks better, feels more natural. So here I think White is a little better and Black has, like, practically a tough position because he has no development. So that's the bishop d6 option. It's solid, but probably worse than bishop e7. After a5, try to defend the bishop with the pawn. White just plays bishop g2. Black should castle. dc4 is also an option, but after a3, bishop takes, knight takes, and b5. Black seems to be holding onto the pawn, but White has b3, and then we trade, and then Black defends. And then after castle is rook c1, bishop b7. The queen here, the point is to guard d4 so that we can maneuver our knight to d3. And here, White has a little bit better position, and practically Black's position is hard to play because this bishop is basically useless, and there's a lot of pressure on his queen's side right now, where he might get the knights to, like, c5 or e5 in the future. So that's why here dc4 isn't played as much as castles, where after queen c2, black can play c5 immediately in the center, and we just trade, and black attacks, and we defend. Takes, castles, knight c6, takes, takes. And here, this is a position where it should be like equal or a little bit better for white, but it's still a complex position, and white has play against the weak pawns on c6 and d5, but black is probably fine, but white is white feels a little better here. So after bishop e7, which is black's main move, white plays bishop g2, castles, castles. And here, knight d7 will transpose to because black will have to play c6 anyways. So castle c6, queen c2, and now knight d7 is black's main option. If black tries to play b6, white can play bishop f4, and they're like with the same move he plays against knight d7, and after knight d2, we reach the same line I recommend against knight d7. It's here too. So queen c2, knight d7. I think bishop f4 is a good move. We're just getting the bishop off d2 so we can put our knight on d2 next. b6 is the main option, but black can play a5 trying to gain space. We just put our rook on d1, and if a4, after h4, h6, knight d2, knight h4, e3, knight takes, e takes, I really think these positions with the pawn on f4 after e takes are easier for white to play because the knight is just coming to e5 and we have undisputed control over that square. And here the c8 bishop's also still having problems. So black can play h6, but after h4, we should just get a similar position. If black tries to play knight g4 and then f5, I mean, this is just like a typical stonewall position. I mean, there's no point going into more moves here because, but I do think white has better chances in most stonewall positions, including this one. So here, if black plays knight h5 without playing a4 or h6, we can just put our bishop on c1. If f5, once again, the stonewalls I think are playable for black, but probably should be a little better for white. So if the knight goes back, we can play knight d2 and play e4. We are not going to take a repetition with bishop f4 unless, like I said, that's something you're interested in. But I would not, because I think white can get an edge. So b5, knight e5, bishop b7, c5, f5, we reach a position where, okay, still the bishop on b7 is bad and is just useless, so black has to spend time playing b5 and bishop a6, but white should be a little better here. So that's why a5 isn't played that much, but knight h5 is also there. Trying to get a repetition, but I mean, there's no point of going back when we can play knight b2 and we have better chances. This is actually a position in the regular closed Catalan, which we've transposed to, and I think white has good chances for an edge here, even advantage. But here b6 is black's main move, but there's a lot of theory here, so I'm going to end the video for now, and I'll continue off with b6 in the next video. So in this video I covered it here, 9 a5, 9 knight h5, and then bishop d6 and a5 bishop. Not going back with the bishop and playing a5. So all of black's sidelines are covered here. Uh, Check out the next video if you want the main line with b6, and I'll go into the theory of this b6 line over there. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed or learned something new, please consider liking and subscribing. Uh, See you.